I had recently come out of a serious relationship with my girlfriend of 6 years. Depressed and not sure of what I was doing, I quit my job and decided to spend some time hiking around the UK. My first stop was northern Wales, and I'd like to say on a personal note that although American national parks have more dangerous animals and difficult environments, these parks also have better protection facilities and are nothing compared with the raw, steep hills of the Welsh country. I've hiked around many estates in the USA and knew the appropriate drills. However, I wasn't sure if free hiking in the Welsh country was even legal, or what was and wasn't private land. Yet, I swear to you, even in hindsight, nothing was going to stop me doing this. I was hiking up a large hill to get a view from the peak. Looking down, way off in the distance, you could see a road winding round the hills like grey ribbons beneath the dark clouds. It was going to rain. Heavy. I decided to hike a mile or so east of my location to a small area of forest on a hillside. By the time I arrived, I was drenched from the rain that ensued, and I set up my one-man tent firmly into the ground on a slope. I'm no idiot and have 10 years hiking experience. I noticed the dangers of putting my tent up on a slope in stormy weather, but it was also lent against 2 trees. I put a tarpaulin above my tent, tied to some trees, and retired for the night. My night wasn't a quiet one. I had no phone for this exhibition. I went full on wild man as I wasn't thinking straight, but it must have been 2:30 AM easy, and against the rain rattling off my tent, which, as any camper knows, sounds like artillery fire in the trenches, I heard a loud, long, almost wolf-like howl. Now, there are no wolves in the UK, and it made me shiver uncontrollably in my sleeping bag, but I thought nothing of it as it sounded a distance away. The next morning, I awoke to see strange scratches in the trees. Not near my tent, but the forest was very, very small, so close enough for me to worry. I set off hiking again, and the day went by without a hitch. I collected water from a fresh stream and even passed through a small village in a valley to collect some food. As it came to night, I set up my tent on top of a flat hill and went to bed. I again woke to the strange howl and lay there, half asleep. Then, something happened that made my skin literally itch. From close, very close in fact, I heard a voice calling my name softly, ever so quiet through the night's air. I sat wide awake. The voice, it was my ex-girlfriend's. How? Nobody in the world could know I was here, never mind her. And why? We broke up. What did she want with me? I knew there was no way to hide as my tent was in the open. I leant up and unzipped my sleeping bag. I thought twice when I heard a voice say, "Please, son, we're so worried." This time, it was my dad. I was very confused and slowly went to unzip the tent when the howl, very loud and clear, almost blew me back. It was from the spot the voices were. I unzipped my tent to see if my dad and ex were okay, and what I saw has scarred me to this day. I saw a wolf-like creature, except it was human. It sounds weird, but it was like looking at some warped creation in a dream. Its arms long and droopy with big claws at the end of them. Black fur that had bald patches across the way, and the face. My God, the face was a mishmash of a wolf human. It was running down the side of the hill. And here's the worst part. It was on its hind legs, sprinting. It raced downwards at an ungodly speed before stopping itself, and before disappearing into some trees on a plot of farmland, it turned and looked at me with sharp, piercing eyes. And I swear to you all now, on everything I own, that it grinned at me from the bottom of the hill. I stayed up till dawn and was packing my tent. I noticed scratches all around the back bit where my head was at night when I sleep. I left the tent and hitchhiked from Wales back to England and found a job back in my hometown. I know of the legends of skinwalkers, but I know they are a Navajo legend and are only usually seen in Arizona, thousands of miles away, with an entirely different climate and land topography. Maybe one of, or some of the witches migrated to Wales? Though I can't see why. I'm not saying that what I saw was a skinwalker, but I swear to God, it resembled one.
I worked at a packaging factory in a small township in Northern Ireland. My company manufactured bottles for condiments based on a contracting system with different condiment companies. This happened to me about 2 decades ago, and with the exception of my ex-girlfriend, I haven't told a soul about this. And it bothers me, so I want to get it down and out here. Whether you believe this or not is your choice, but the more people who don't believe this is better for me. I just want to forget. It was probably 1994, and I had just started working after leaving college. College wasn't for me, so I threw myself into the job. Being the newbie, I had the most intense work to do, and all the crap jobs were left for me. The contract we had, at the time, wasn't going too well, and the staff had fallen behind on targets for the 7th day. Because of this, the plant manager asked 8 people to do after-hours night shift to help catch up. I was asked and figured the extra money would help. The factory closed at 8 p.m., and from there we stayed until 3 a.m. Thankfully, I had just learned to drive and had a clapped-out Bowen White Ford Escort 92 regular. Unfortunately, however, the company's main gates closed at 8 p.m., so I had to park my car on the street about a 5-minute walk away. This comes into play later. The night ended faster than you'd think, and I was walking out of the industrial complex alone, as I'd only been there for a few weeks and hadn't made any friends. I walked out of the factory and passed a large cheap building. The ones with congruent iron roofs, and this was detached from everything else, and on one side was the classic alley with a big industrial bend and no lighting. It was 3:15 a.m., and I was a little bit edgy walking past this particular spot. As I did, I heard a high whiny noise come from the bends, and the bin rattling. Not sure what to think, but pinning it down to some urban mammal searching the bins for food, I quietly walked past towards my car. I unlocked the door of my car and got in, buckled my seatbelt, and opened my lunchbox that still had half a sandwich in it. I sat for a few eating it, then lit a cigarette. I was just about to turn on the engine when I glanced in the rearview mirror. What I saw, it really screwed with me. I still think about it, and even as I'm writing this, I doubt if what I saw was even real. From the alleyway, standing at no more than 2 feet but perfectly proportioned, was a small humanoid. Now I know I'm Irish, but this is not a joke. What I saw, I believe, was real. It had blotchy brown-white skin, though due to lighting, it may have just been dirty, and a massive facial hair growing around the exterior of his face, and a chubby body. It was completely naked, its nose big and fat like an old man's, and its face red and puffed like a kettle ready to boil. I slouched in my seat and wound my window down a crack and listened through the 3 o'clock silence. It was grunting to itself in the same high-pitched whine. Unaudible noises that meant nothing to me. It was holding a chicken leg in one hand and was shaking its fist violently in the other. I quickly turned on the engine and flicked on my lights and began to drive calmly. This calmness evolved into pure dread as this thing perked up and began chasing my car. Hobbling as fast as possible and screeching and screaming, I sped off, went home, and thought long and hard about what I'd seen. I never came up with a decent explanation, and I never worked nights again. I buried this down for a decade or so before telling my ex, but recently it's been plaguing my mind, and I just want to tell people who don't know me or anything about me, because I'm scared that I'll be ridiculed.
Hey guys, two absolutely crazy stories here. The first one, wow, skinwalkers in the UK. I can officially shit myself. The second one, I'm not sure about the validity of that. I can't bring myself to believe that, but it's convincing, and the guy puts a good story forward. I mean, even if it was scary, I don't think I'd be scared of like little gnome people, but bloody hell, he made it sound pretty scary. I do want to give a big shout out to Basement Horrors for helping out on this. You should go and check out his channel right now. He's just hit 400 subs, which is sick. He's a nice guy, and he's a great narrator, and he's getting a new mic. Remember to like this video, subscribe for more, and comment any ideas that you have in the comment section below. I have got a 300 subs video coming out very soon. I just need to finish reading some of the stories, narrating them, and just editing the audio a little bit. Tune in next week. I think it's going to be a viewer requested video of Craigslist stories. So, thank you very much, guys. Peace out.